Now all the engines and Ed went to see Duck, the Great Western Engine. Duck, do you remember the incident when all you steamies had a fight? Not as much as you had or your father, but I do remember the part where all of us did have the fight. When we biffed into each other, it all started like this. When Thomas went to the yard to collect some paint. That afternoon, Thomas had to collect some paint for the bridge, for the builders to paint it. He puffed in slowly into the builder's yard and back up to the paint containers. But Diesel was in the yard too. Now I'll show Thomas who's best, Diesel whispered, and he gave the trucks an extra hard shunt. The paint pots flew into the air and splattered down all over Thomas. There was green paint, yellow paint, and red paint. Thomas looked very silly indeed. Stripey boiler, laughed Diesel, and he rolled away. I'll show those diesels, said Thomas crossly. So the next time Thomas saw Ari, he gave him a biff. And when Ari saw James, he gave him a bump. Soon, all over the island, the steamies and the diesels were biffing and banging and being bumped all over the island. And me and my cousins, we didn't want to see the fight. So we just had to do what we had to do. What was that? Everybody hide! So that's what we did. We ran and went to find some hiding places. I hid in a car. My brother hid in a freight car. Tam hid in a building. And Gordy hid in another building. Harry hid behind a car. John and Jane hid in a truck. Peter hid in a barrel. And Taj and Emmy, we went and hid behind some freight cars. That evening, Sir Topham Hatt came to see the engines. He was very, very cross with them. You have caused confusion and delay, Sir Topham Hatt said sternly. The bridge isn't painted, and we will not be able to open the airport. No vacationers will come to Sodor this year, he added sternly, and all the engines were very sad. No vacationers, moaned Thomas. And no airplanes, groaned Percy. And now you will never move out of my sheds, huffed Emily. All the engines were miserable. And the steam engine kids felt the worst. They were really upset about not having vacationers come to Sodor, but they were also really disappointed in their parents. Tam, his cousins, even Emmy was disappointed in her mother. They've had enough of this and decided to leave. Not to leave Sodor. We were still on Sodor. We just didn't feel like watching all this anymore because we knew it would feel like tomorrow as well, just as the same as yesterday and today. And that night the engines had bad dreams. If no vacationers would come to Sodor, they dream about what might happen to them. James dreamt about the fairground. He dreamt he was a carnival game. Children were lined up, and so was Sir Topham Hatt. The children threw lots of balls at James. One even knocked a coconut out of his funnel. I don't like this, moaned James. I was much happier when I was a clean and shiny engine. But it wasn't just James who was having a bad dream. Gordon was having a bad dream too. Gordon dreamt he was put in a playground. Children were swinging on him. They slid down a slide, and they climbed all over him. The indignity, said Gordon. I wish I was a real engine again. Edward dreamt he was a scarecrow. He sat in a field, up to his axles in mud, and Farmer McColl didn't seem to care since he was in his garden. But Percy, he had the worst dream of all. He dreamt he was a roller coaster ride. He went up and down rails and went around twists. Bust my boiler, huffed Percy. And we were also having the same dream too. You had the same dream that Grandpa had? Yep, and it was really horrible. When he was in the field, me, Edwin, and our mother saw him from a distance, and we were really sad of losing him. We couldn't bear the feeling of losing our father, and we really didn't want him to be evil either, acting so mean a lot. We want him back to his old self. And that is when Tam had the idea. He did something that I and no Stevens child have ever done before. What? What is it? Tell us! We're gonna need one. Well, if you want to know, then we are gonna need that engine to tell us that story.